I love my little beat. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, y'all. Hey, financial besties. How you doing? How you been? Welcome back and happy Friday to you. Happy Friday, besties. If you're with me live, put some money babies in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling based on the number of money bags you put in the chat. If you're watching the replay, hey friends. Hey to you too. I want to see your money babies in the chat too. Let me know how you're feeling by the number of money bags you use. If you're feeling good, real good, let me see a whole bunch of money bags. If you're feeling all right, you ain't feeling that well, you can give me 1 or 2 money bags. Let me see some money babies. Let me see some money babies in the live chat and in the comments. Who is with me on this lovely Friday? I hope you all are doing well. So I want to see your money bags. I hope you are doing well. What are we talking about today? What are we talking about today? I'm actually excited about today's topic because it's something that we talk about a lot in addition to the money. It's something that we talk about a lot on my channel. So I have been making some decisions over here and doing some things on my end. And I said, you know what? Let me share this with my besties so they can make sure they're on point too. So I know that some of you are planning to move abroad soon. And if you're not, some of you have probably been daydreaming about it. Am I right? Yes or yes. Because I know I am. But before you decide to leave the United States, there is one very important question that I want you to ask yourself. Do you have a financial plan to support the life that you envision abroad? Let me know in the comments. Answer that in the comments too. Do you have a financial plan to support the life that you envision abroad? And the reason why I ask that, and the reason why it's important for you to ask yourself that and answer the question honestly to yourself, is because the idea of moving abroad is exciting. A lot of us fantasize about it, have been fantasizing about it probably since childhood. I remember when I was in college, there was nothing more I wanted than to study abroad. But the dream of living abroad, depending on the country you choose and what's going on in your life at the time, it doesn't always match day-to-day reality. So if you are planning to leave the US, I want us to talk about how to financially prepare for the transition. So when you get there in your new country, your new home, you can truly live well. Let's talk about getting financially prepared for the transition. Creating our financial exit plan. But if this is your first time seeing one of my videos, hey girl, hey, I'm Malika. I am a breast cancer survivor. Yes, to God be the glory. I am also a stock market investor and a money coach. I help women over 40, primarily Black women over 40, invest with ease to build a portfolio for financial freedom so that they can live well. My investment portfolio prepared me to retire early at 47. And now at fabulous 50, I have been reevaluating my life and deciding what I want my life to look like now in my 50s, in this new season of life. So if you want the freedom to own your time and create a life that you love and pivot whenever you want to, subscribe to my channel and let's grow together. Welcome, new friend. Welcome, welcome. But make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me say hello to my OG besties who's with me. Besties are with me. I love the money babies. Yes, I love the money babies. Love it, love it, love it. Tanya, hey girl, you are always first in the house. And woo, you were early. You were early tonight. What's up, Tanya? How you doing? How you been? Who else is with me? What's up, Greta? Midlife money moves. Greta King. Hey, girl, hey. I love me some Greta. What's up, Venus Kirby? Thank you for the money, babies. I love me some Venus, too. That's right, Greta. She came back with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 money bags. Yes. Greta feeling good tonight. What's up, Igami? Channel member. Financial Vesty channel member. Igami dropped 3 money bags for us. Igami is feeling good tonight. Yes, Tanya Brooks. Yeah, okay. Tanya came through with what, about 8? What's that, 8 money bags? I love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. What's up, Sparkling Jewel? How you doing? How you been? Miss Tay said, with everything going on, I just want out. I know that's right. I know that's right. Where your money bags at, girl? Where your money bags at? I ain't gonna get started until everybody in the live chat show me some money bags. So still working on your financial plan. That's what's holding you up. Okay. Okay. What's up, Miss Eileen, channel member with the custom emoji, money bags and money babies. Love to see it. Love to see it. I saw some other custom. There we go. Miss Penny. Hey, girl. Hey. But what's up, channel member, bestie? The besties got the custom emojis in the live chat. I know y'all see them in the live chat. I can't see them on StreamYard, but y'all see them in the live chat. You see them. You see them. Let me see. Any other channel members in the house? Any other channel members on yet? I know they coming. I know they coming. Let's see what my channel members talking about. Penny said, I made it kinda. I'm at work, so only listening halfway now. Okay, now to find the money babies. Penny is hailing all the way from Alaska. So she's in a different time zone. Sis still at work. Sis still at work. I appreciate you tuning in while you're still at work. Tanya said her financial plan is in the works. Okay. Miss Greta says she is in pivot mode. I know that's right. Sparkling Jill said, yeah. Ooh, I love that. Sparkling Jill said, yes, I have a financial plan to support myself. I know that's right. I'm doing my due diligence as we speak by God's grace and mercy. Amen to that. Amen to that. Sometimes we get ourselves in situations. Sometimes there are things that we cannot plan for. But with God's grace and mercy, that's all we need. He work it right on out, don't he? He work it right on out. That's all we need. In fact, we need his grace and mercy in our financial plan. Venus says she's working on the plan. Sparkling Jewel says she's saving her money. Okay. All right. Good, good, good. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, this financial exit plan I want to talk about is money related, but it's probably not a financial plan that you're thinking of. I am not going to share with you how to save, how to invest, how to get the money to move abroad. That's not what this is about at all. Sorry to disappoint you if you were thinking that. But what this is about is sharing my thought process and how I move defensively and offensively so that I can prepare myself for the life I want to live abroad and prepare myself for the unexpected. Because reality abroad, while it may sound fascinating, it may sound glorious and exciting, the day-to-day reality does not always match our dreams. So, the whole idea of moving abroad is to have peace, to experience joy. So, if you do not plan properly, you're going to have the very opposite of what you anticipate. So, I have been working on my.
It's 7:18. Good evening.
Uh-oh. It's my watch. I pushed the wrong button. But I have been working on my financial exit plan, and I decided to share it with you all. It hopefully will be helpful to many of you. And if there's anything I don't share that is part of your exit plan, I welcome you. Share it in the comments or in the live chat. Let's reconcile all of our ideas so that we all can be as prepared as possible for a wonderful life abroad. But my exit plan includes 5 sections. 5 sections. It includes a spend plan. It includes an income plan. It includes a financial security plan. It includes an emergency plan and what I have called a peace or pivot plan. We're going to get into that peace or pivot plan for real, because things don't always work out the way we plan. So we need to be agile and prepared to pivot, right? So, section 1 is my spend plan. The first thing in my spend plan is I evaluate what I think my expenses will be in my new home. I'm not going to get into the details of all the things that I do because I have a lot of things to share in this financial exit plan. But the very, very first thing I do is evaluate what my expenses will be in the new home. My research and prior visits to my preferred country of choice. The cost of living in that country is about half the cost of living in the United States. But based on my preferred standard of living and my unique circumstances, I expect my expenses to be about $5,000 a month based on my standard of living. Could you live abroad for less than $5,000 a month? Absolutely. Sure you can. In fact, the top 3 countries that I have in mind that I'll share in another video, you can probably live in all of them on maybe $1,500, $2,000 a month. But is that the way I want to live in this phase of my life? No. I think the very first step in your exit plan should be determining how much is it going to cost to live there. And I mean specifics, not general ideas or general opinions of people saying, oh, it's cheap to live there. Oh, it's cheaper than the US. Oh, you'll spend about half. That's not good enough. And the reason why is because everyone has different standards of living. You can live here in the US off $1,000 a month. It depends on what state you live in and what your quality of life is like. So that same concept applies abroad. Research what it will cost you based on your needs and your desired standard of living, even if the country has a cost of living that is considered cheap or low. Cheap is relative. Inexpensive is relative. Someone tells you that, oh, you can rent an apartment for $600 a month, and you get there and you find out what you get for $600 a month. That may not fit your needs. I'm just saying, consider your unique needs, not what everyone else says it costs. Okay? So, expenses first. My estimated expenses is about $5,000 a month. I'm sure I'll spend way less than that, but I estimate my expenses based on the higher end. So when things change, such as fluctuating exchange rates and the cost of housing goes up and the cost of food goes up, because we are spending US dollars, we are converting US dollars. When the exchange rate fluctuates, I don't want to have any surprises. This is the whole purpose of planning for the unknown and the unexpected, but also considering what you do know could change, right? As we all know what's going on in the world right now, the things that the leader of this country is doing that's affecting the global economy, that's affecting the value of the US dollar. If the value of the US dollar goes down, things are going to be more expensive if you're converting US dollars. So just keep that in mind. So I estimate much higher than what I realistically think I will need, but it also considers my unique needs, like my healthcare expenses. It also considers my preferred standard of living, and it also considers things that could change once I get there. All right. The second thing that is part of the spend plan section in my financial exit plan is bank accounts. Bank accounts. I have 2 bank accounts. I'm not talking about investment accounts or brokerage accounts. I mean bank accounts with money in it that I have access to withdraw from. So I have 2 bank accounts with 2 debit cards. The first one is Charles Schwab, the investor checking. The second one is the Fidelity Cash Management. Both of those accounts are accounts that I can go to the ATM machine and pull money out in the local currency wherever I am in the world. So, because that is the way I intend to use those accounts as strictly transactional accounts, I wanted to make sure that all of the cards were new cards. So if either one of my cards expired within, let's say, 2 years, I called up my bank and asked for a new card. What I do not want is to get abroad and to get comfortable, and in a year or so, my card is about to expire and they can't get it to me. Or I got to worry about figuring out how they can get it to me. So eliminate that concern up front. Go ahead and put it in your plan. Put a task on your to-do list to get new debit cards. Why do I have 2? Because it helps to have a backup card. If one of the cards are ever lost or stolen or get eaten by the ATM machine, that happens often. A very common thing that happens when we're abroad is sometimes we'll take our money out of the ATM machine and walk away and leave our card in the machine. Because in the US, we're used to taking our card out and then getting the money. But a lot of ATM machines in other countries, They hold your card and then they give you your money. And then you get your card after. The card is spit out afterwards. So if you are thinking the way it's done in the US and you pull your money out, you think, I'm good to go. I already have my card. And walked away and left your card in the machine. So things like that, we hope they don't happen. But if they do, you want two bank accounts with two separate debit cards so you can have a backup if something happens to the other one. The reason why I use Charles Schwab Investor Checking and Fidelity Cash Management is because both accounts reimburse ATM fees worldwide, and neither account charges a foreign transaction fee. The money that I have in my Fidelity Cash Management account is swept up in a bank, and it earns the interest rate that's associated with SPAXX, and that earns an interest rate of about 3.96%. And Schwab, that money only earns probably 0.05%, just like a regular bank account. So it earns nothing, basically. It earns nothing. But I have both. I keep debit cards of both just in case I lose one of them. The third thing in my spend plan part of the exit plan is credit cards. I carry 3 credit cards, a minimum of 3 credit cards at all times. My American Express, my Visa, and my MasterCard. And the same thing I did with my debit cards. If any of them expired within the next 2 years, call them up, send me a new card. I want all of my cards to expire in 2029 or later. Because I don't want to have to fool around with having to get new cards just because the expiration date is coming up. We can fix that now. We can address that right now. So get your cards renewed before you go. Make sure they don't expire anytime soon. Why do I have 3 cards? Because number one, I love my American Express Platinum. I use my American Express Platinum for any and everything. Absolutely everything. That is my first card that I reach for. That is my card of choice to maximize rewards. And the other 2 I use wherever Amex is not accepted. The other 2 I also use as my first choice if the vendor gives me a discount for using MasterCard or Visa. I have been places. In fact, when I got the healthcare screening in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, they gave a 10 or 15% discount if you used a MasterCard. I've seen some people give discounts if you use Visas. Either way, I'm going to have whatever you need. American Express, Visa, MasterCard, I got it. Because your girl like a discount and your girl like rewards. Okay? Amex is my first choice. But Visa and MasterCard are my backups where Amex is not accepted. And it also just helps to have a backup credit card if one of your other credit cards are lost or stolen. And sometimes your card can be shut down or closed due to fraudulent activity or suspected fraudulent activity. So it helps to have at least 2 credit cards. I like 3 because I prefer American Express, but that's not accepted everywhere. So my MasterCard and my Visa are my backups. And all 3 are rewards cards. I don't use any credit card that doesn't pay me to use it. I got to earn something from that credit card company. That credit card company ain't giving me nothing. I'm not using your card. Okay? And the last part of the spend plan section in my financial exit plan is a bill payments account. A bill payments account. And you're probably thinking, girl, you already got the Fidelity Cash Management and the Charles Schwab. You can pay bills out of that. I could, but remember, we're talking about living abroad. Okay? So for my bill payment account, I have a Wise account. a Wise account, and a Wise debit card that goes with it. This is a multi currency global account. Wise allows you to access 40 different currencies in 160 countries. So I mainly use Wise when I need to pay in the local currency and transfer money to a foreign bank account. I also like to use Wise because it's like having a wallet with different currencies inside. Let's say, for example, I wanted to go back to Malaysia. Malaysia's currency is the ringgit. Let's say I wanted to go to Indonesia. Indonesia's currency is the rupiah. Let's say I wanted to go to Thailand. Thailand currency is the baht. In my one Wise account, I can have a pot of money of rupiah, of baht, and ringgits all in one account. And depending on who I need to pay and what currency, I can use my one Wise account to pay in whatever currency I need. And when I'm doing bank transfers to pay things like rent, if you were to transfer from your bank to another bank, you will have to pay a wire transfer fee. And most banks charge about $25 for a wire transfer fee. In fact, I just recently paid for something using my Wise account, paying via bank transfer, and it was $520. Had I used my bank to wire the money, my bank would have charged me a $25 wire fee. Wise pulled the money from my US account, converted it to the local currency, and I was able to deposit money into the foreign bank account to pay for what I needed. And it all cost me $3.70, the wire fee and the conversion fee. So I like Wise. And with Wise, they also give you a debit card, so you can use the debit card to get money in local currency out of the ATM. I haven't used that before, but I like having it as a backup. Again, just in case one of my debit cards get lost or stolen or eaten up. So I like having it as a backup. But I do use the bank account version often when I need to pay rent, when I need to pay utilities. A lot of utility companies abroad are not going to accept credit cards. So Wise always come through for me when I need that backup form of payment without paying a lot of ridiculous fees. Wise has hold on, I should have had this already up. I think there's a referral link I can give you if anybody wants to open a Wise account. There is no fee to open the account, but I think you get savings on the conversion fees. You get free transfers up to $600 in free transfers with no fees. So yeah, I'm going to drop this in the live chat and I'll put it on the screen for anyone that is interested. So if you don't have a Wise account and you would like to open a Wise account, there is no fee. There are no like minimum balance, minimum deposit. But if you do add USD to your account and convert it, the first $600 will be converted without any fees. It'll be converted for free, but you have to open the account using this link if you decide to use Wise. Let's see. Eileen said, I love that the Wise account earns it. Yes. And the money that's in the Wise account, it earns 3.9. It earns interest just like a high yield savings account. Wise interest rate. I want to say it's 3.9%. Yep. 3.92%. But let's see what you're saying. I love that the Wise account earns interest for certain currency accounts. I currently have a Euro and Mexican peso account along with my US account. I can transfer, convert between the currencies. Yes, I love it. Yep. Ms. Greta said she has a Wise card and account. Yeah, awesome. Tanya has a Wise card and account. Yes. I love it. Yeah, that Wise The Wise account is clutch. It really, really comes in handy. Ms. Greta, can you connect your Wise account to more than one bank account? When I set up my account, I only saw one option. I don't know the answer to that question because I only have one account that I connect to third-party accounts. You know what? Let's ask ChatGPT. Can you add more than one bank account to your Wise account? Yes, you can link multiple bank accounts to your Wise account. However, you can only have one personal account with Wise. You can link additional bank accounts to your Wise account on the website, but not on the mobile app. To add or delete bank accounts, you'll need to do so through the Wise website. So there you go, Miss Greta. There you go. Thank you for asking that. Now I know too, because I didn't know. So let's see. What else? What else? Let me check my notes. What else was in the spend plan portion of my financial exit plan? You're welcome, Miss Greta. All right. Yeah, so that's it in my spend plan portion of the exit plan. So quick recap. I estimate my expenses. I have 2 bank accounts. I have 3 credit cards to cover Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. American Express is my favorite, but it's not accepted everywhere. Sometimes vendors will offer you discounts if you use Visa and MasterCard. So I have those as backups. And my bill payment account, my Wise account. So those are the 4 things I consider when I am planning my expenses for life abroad. If you have any questions about anything I've shared so far, feel free to put it in the live chat. Or if you're watching a replay, feel free to put it in the comments and I will circle back and answer your question as soon as I can. All right. The next part of my exit plan is my income plan. Y'all know I don't work. I know this part is so important to other people, but it requires the least effort from me because I don't work. I'm unemployable. So I'm just going to make this part quick. I have structured my investment portfolio to create passive income so I can continue living on my investments. I teach my investing strategy and I demonstrate exactly how I've built my portfolio and how I have created enough passive income to live on. I have a masterclass in the Sister Circle where I show you how to create a minimum of $2,500 a month in passive income. So the link is in the description. The link is in the live chat, and I'll put it up here on the screen if you would like to join us in the Invest with Ease program to build that passive income. Venus said SCHD works with my budget. If you were in Invest with Ease, you would know something that's way better than SCHD. All my sisters was like, oh yeah, I want to build a dividend portfolio. Oh, I like SCHD. I was like, why? Tell me why. And they all was like, oh, because that's what everybody talk about on social media. Mistake number 1. If you're buying SCHD because it's popular and that's what everybody's talking about, that's mistake number 1. So I got my girls together real quick. I show them how to analyze ETFs. I show them how to do the math to determine what dividend paying ETFs and stocks were better for their goals. And some of them that were investing in SCHD, they no longer invest in SCHD. because now they know how to do the analysis to make the independent decision for themselves and not just follow the herd. But anyway, the second part of my income plan is tax considerations. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I am not a tax expert. And anything I share is for educational purposes only. And please, please consult with a tax professional to determine what income structure creates the best tax outcome for you. But my tax considerations are part of my exit plan because I want to make sure while I'm living abroad that I am not subject to double taxation. And I also want to make sure that I minimize my tax liability as much as possible in the US while I'm living in another country. Because, yes, believe it or not, the United States tax worldwide income. So even if you leave the country, you still have to file a tax return. And depending on your income structure, you may still have to pay U.S. income taxes, even if you live in a completely different country. So, part of my exit plan includes tax considerations. I estimated that my monthly expenses will be about $5,000 a month, but it's very, very overestimated, right? So $5,000 a month is about $60,000 a year. And with my plan to live on my investments, straight passive income, straight capital gains, if my total income, meaning revenue and capital gains, is within that amount, $60,000 a year, it would fall under the threshold for zero federal tax liability. How is that possible? Because the US federal government allows you to earn capital gains as a single person up to $48,350 and pay zero in taxes. In addition to that, there is a $15,000 standard deduction. So $15,000 plus $48,350 is $63,350 that is responsible for $0 in federal income taxes. That's the first tax consideration. The second tax consideration is when I meet the criteria for the physical presence test, which is 330 days outside the United States, or the bona fide residence test, I will claim the foreign earned income exclusion when I'm eligible for it. And that excludes up to, for 2025, because it's subject to change every year, that will exclude up to $130,000 from your U.S. tax liability, federal tax liability. All right. You'll still be responsible for state taxes, depending on what state you live in. But we have, 8, 9 tax-free states? But when you are living solely on your passive income, you can have $48,000 in capital gains and pay no taxes. There's another $15,000 standard deduction for a single person to give you $63,000 in income tax free. All I need is $60,000 based on my inflated cost of living estimate. Right? So make sure you consider the taxes that you will be responsible for when you move abroad. Miss Greta is sharing some that I don't consider because they don't apply to me, but this is very helpful. So I'm going to share it on the screen. Miss Greta said Panama and Thailand do not tax Social Security. So that's very good to know. Something to consider. Whatever country you move to, whatever your income source is, make sure you consider the tax implications in the country that you're planning to live in. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Greta. The next part. Oh, I missed a question. Can you all put a QQ in front of your questions so I can see them faster so they'll stand out to me? I just so happened to look up and I missed your question, Miss Ty. What are your thoughts on dividend income? Do you have a specific question? Because I love dividend income. I love passive income from dividends. So what do you really want to know? What do you really want to know? Ask another question so I can circle back and answer you again. I like talking about investing, so feel free to ask me anything. Ms. Deborah said, I'll be saying I don't work in 5 months. Yay! Are you retiring in 5 months, Ms. Deborah? If so, congratulations in advance. Killer Queen. I think this is a new name. I haven't seen her name before, but she is sharing a tax consideration that may be helpful. She says, hi, Greta. I had not one but 2 consultations, just to be sure, with 2 different tax attorneys. Good move, Killer Queen, good move. Always consult with a tax expert, please. 2 tax attorneys in Portugal, and both my Social Security and pension will be taxed. This is what I mean. Consult with a professional. Don't take advice that you heard on the internet. Can't afford to take that hit. Very disappointed. Very interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Queen. Miss Deborah, you are retiring soon. Awesome. Congratulations. Awesome. Let's see. Basically, if you think dividend income is substantial, I think my dividends get reinvested, but not sure if I'm confusing that with something else. Okay. Your dividends are probably reinvested right now in the dividend reinvestment plan. You have the drip turned on. When you're building your portfolio, that's a good thing. You want to have the drip turned on, reinvest your dividends so that you're automatically buying more shares. When you are transitioning from your wealth building phase to your drawdown phase, when you are entering the phase of life where you no longer work for money and you want to live off of the dividends in your portfolio, all you have to do is go in and turn off the drip, and then that money will be either deposited in your cash account, or you can direct your brokerage to transfer the dividends to your checking account, your external checking account. So they probably are reinvested right now, which is a good thing. But you have the ability to go into the settings and turn that off. The first part of your question, if I think dividend income is substantial, it depends on your portfolio. It depends on how you structured your portfolio, right? I have some sisters in the sister circle where they solely want to build a dividend income portfolio. So they are focusing their strategy solely on creating dividend income. So because that is her specific goal, I have helped her structure her portfolio to meet that specific goal. As I mentioned, I can show you how to build a portfolio to earn at least $2,500 a month in dividend income. So, substantial is relative. It could be substantial depending on your strategy and how you structure your portfolio. My portfolio does allow me to live on just my dividend income. So, substantial, it depends on your portfolio, your strategy, and how you structured things in order to build up that dividend income, right? If you want to join us in the Invest with Ease program and get some group coaching in the Sister Circle, you're welcome to join us. I included the link in the live chat already. This is exactly what I do in the Sister Circle. I help you structure your portfolio. I help you structure your portfolio so we can get you closer to your goal. All right. Any other questions? Oh, I see some people saying Portugal off their list. Okay. I see. Thanks for playing. I can't wait to get out of the building phase so I can start getting deposits. Yeah. Hey, Miss Celeste, how you doing? How you been? All right, let's move on to the next phase of my exit plan. It's what I call financial security plan. The financial security plan. So I have all of these accounts, I have all of these credit cards, I'm investing for my income. You need to make sure that when you move abroad and you're accessing your accounts, that everything is secure. So I use a VPN. I use a VPN to protect my financial data online. And if anyone doesn't know what a VPN is, it secures your internet connection when you're using public Wi-Fi or any unfamiliar Wi-Fi. And you definitely want to have your connection secure when you're accessing your financial accounts online. Another thing a VPN does for me is when I am abroad, it allows me to choose an IP address in the United States. And that way, it looks like I'm physically in the United States when I'm logging into my account, when I'm accessing my account online. That way, my bank thinks I'm in the United States and it won't lock me out or close my account while I'm abroad because I've been logging in from abroad too many times and for too long. The worst thing that can happen, the absolute worst thing that can happen is for your account to get shut down while you're abroad and you cannot access your money. But one good thing though, the reason why I choose Charles Schwab and Fidelity is because they do not have a problem with you living abroad and keeping your accounts here in the United States. But I still use a VPN when I log in, and I use a VPN to protect my account when I'm using a Wi-Fi that isn't my own. When I am in a public space, or even when I'm in an apartment and a lot of the apartments abroad, they come fully furnished and they come with the Wi-Fi. I can't control that Wi-Fi. I don't know who's monitoring the use of that Wi-Fi. Anytime I'm accessing my financial accounts online, I'm putting a barrier up first to protect the data that I'm accessing online. I immediately turn on my VPN if it isn't already. Before I log into any of my financial accounts online, I always check to make sure that the VPN is on first. Always, always use your VPN when you are doing any financial transactions online in any location, whether you're in the United States, whether you're in the United States or abroad. But I especially use it when I'm abroad. I use, because I know someone may ask, I use NordVPN. And I do have a link for you where you can get 3 months free. Lord, I'll put all these links in the description box too. But for now, I'll just share them in the live chat. And I will put this on the screen, but it's a long one, so you may not be able to jot it down fast enough, but I'll put it in the description box. Use this link, open your VPN account, and you will get 3 months free. Even if you don't use the link, I still strongly recommend that you use a VPN to protect your financial security when you're online and especially when you're abroad. The next thing I do for financial security that's part of my financial exit plan before I move abroad, I make sure that I turn on travel notifications. Now, most banks don't require this anymore, especially if you use travel cards. They know you're going to be traveling, or especially if you use a financial institution that primarily serves people that live abroad. One that comes to mind is like USAA or Navy Federal, any type of military affiliate financial institutions. They usually don't require travel notifications anymore, but I still do it. If there's a section in my account where I can add a travel notification, I still add it on all of my accounts because I want to avoid 2 things: fraud alerts and having my transactions declined. Ain't nothing worse than being abroad, trying to pay for something, trying to pay for your food, trying to buy some breakfast, and your card get declined because your bank thinks it's fraud. Now, even though you might have 2 debit cards and 3 credit cards, you ain't walking around with all of them all at one time, which I didn't write that down, but that's also part of your financial security plan. You want to have these extra cards and these extra accounts, but you're not going to be walking around with everything all at one time. And you want to keep them in different places, right? You keep your favorites on your purse. You keep one in one bag. You keep one in your backpack, and have locks for all these things, right? So you're not going to have everything with you all at one time. So if you're out and about and all you got is one credit card and one debit card, and let's say your credit card is an American Express that they don't use, and then the debit card thinks it's fraud, what you gonna do? Yes, that has happened to me before, and I was pissed. I was pissed. Thankfully, they sent me an alert on my phone that gave me the option. They asked, like, was this you? And I had to respond Y, yes, or N, no. And when I responded yes, they lifted the block, but then I still had to do the transaction again. And then they approved it the second time. But if you add the travel notification and you let your banks know that you're going to be traveling abroad, usually that will help to prevent any fraud alerts or blocking any of your transactions. Let's see. Eileen said, Bank of America almost had me stuck when I let them know I was traveling to Mexico when I picked up my currency, and they still locked my card when I used it for the first time to pay. Girl, that would have pissed me off. Would have pissed me off. That would have pissed me off. So it still could happen, as you could see from Eileen's experience. It still could happen, but just to do your due diligence, dot your I's, cross your T's, add this to your list in your financial exit plan. Add notifications, travel notifications to all of your accounts. So hopefully you can avoid your transactions being declined. And I know I've heard like some cards, if you have too many alerts, like within a certain period of time, they'll close your account. And some cards, they don't even send you a text message to ask, is it you? Like if they suspect it's fraud, they will just close the account and then send you another card and they're sending you the card to your house, your address on file, which is in the United States. Lord, why am I getting tongue-tied tonight? Lord, I'm talking too fast. Let me slow down. Sometimes, if they detect fraud, they will close your account and send you a new card. And if they send you a new card, they're going to send it to the address on file, which will be the address in the United States. But you're in a whole new country. You're in a whole different country. So do as much as you can to prevent any fraud alerts on your account. Let your bank or financial institution know in advance that you are planning to travel. Another thing about travel notifications, the ones that I have done, they only allow you to do a travel notification for 3 months. One of mine was limited to 3 months and the other one was limited to 6 months. So I had to put a reminder on my calendar to go in about a week before and do it again. I know American Express doesn't require it at all, so I didn't have to worry about doing it there. Charles Schwab does not require it, but they do have a section on their website where you can do it if you want to. So do as much as you can to prevent your accounts from being closed due to fraud. Let's see. Miss Deborah, do you use the Prime or Plus VPN? You mean from the Nord VPN? Let me see. Which one do I have? I don't know, Miss Deborah, but I'm about to double check for you. I'm about to double check for you right now. Which one do I have? I have, hold on. I have the Plus. I have the Plus. The Plus is one step up from the basic. Yeah, I see Prime is like the top one. It does. Yeah, Prime is the top. The reason why I did not get the Prime is because I have so many other services already that provide the features that are included in Prime above and beyond the Plus, like the 1 terabyte of encrypted cloud storage. I already have that through Google, my business Google account. The identity and social security monitoring alerts, I already have that. Credit monitoring services, I already have that. $1 million in identity theft insurance. Oh, the last one, up to 100K in cyber extortion insurance. Never heard of that, but a lot of the features in the Prime account, the Prime level, I already have in other services that I pay for, so I didn't need the overlap. But I do have the Plus. The basic, I wanted more than the basic. I like the Threat Protection Pro under the Plus. I also like the password manager under the Plus, and those features are not available in the basic. So I did upgrade just one step. Yeah. Hope that helps you. All right. The next part of my financial exit plan to make sure I'm financially prepared to enjoy a life of ease while abroad is the emergency plan. The emergency plan. There are 3 parts of my emergency plan. Number 1, travel insurance. Travel insurance. Until you become a resident of your country, your new country, and you are able to get the local insurance, which may be public insurance that's free. I know a lot of countries have public insurance for their citizens and residences. Or you may buy the private insurance in that country. But until you become a resident, you will need to have your own insurance. I don't care how healthy you are, how young you are. Please, please, please do not bypass this step. Make sure you have the travel insurance. Make sure you have travel insurance that covers more than cancellations and your bags getting lost and travel delays and stuff like that. Make sure you have travel insurance that covers emergency medical coverage. You also want to make sure that your travel insurance covers emergency evacuations. This next one is extremely important. Make sure your insurance covers repatriation of your remains. What that means is if, in the unfortunate event, you pass away while you're abroad, you want them to bring your body home so your family can lay you to rest. When I tell you the cost of that is crazy expensive, your family is not going to be able to afford to do that. They will be doing GoFundMes. Help me get my baby home. They will have to do GoFundMes to avoid all of that, to avoid the extra distress during emergencies. Just get travel insurance. Just get travel insurance. Make sure it covers medical coverage for emergencies, emergency evacuations, and repatriation of your remains. The emergency evacuation is if there's civil unrest or if you have a medical emergency and you're in a country that has good health care, but they may not have the equipment that's needed for your unique emergency situation. And you need it to be airlifted to the next nearest country as quickly as possible in order to get the medical attention that you need to save your life. That's where that emergency evacuation will come in. They will be able to airlift you, or whatever the mode of transportation is, to the nearest medical facility that has the equipment that's needed to treat your unique situation. I know I'm sounding dramatic as I say these things, but that's on purpose. Because sometimes we glorify and we fantasize about all the beauty of living abroad. And living abroad is beautiful. It is less stress. It is a dream life. But things happen. Things happen that we could never anticipate. And having the insurance coverage will not only make sure that you get the medical attention you need, but it will also alleviate a lot of stress on your family. It will also prevent a lot of decisions that need to be made that could potentially delay you from getting the treatment that you need. So with insurance that has the coverage you need in the event of an emergency, you can just focus on the medical care that you need and focus on healing without having to worry about where the money is going to come from. So please, please, please make sure you have that minimum travel insurance that covers emergencies. It's so important to me now because of what I experienced last year. So this is something that can turn an emergency situation that could be extremely stressful on you and your family into an emergency situation that is well controlled, and you and your family can be together. They can love on you and they can support you and they can make sure you're getting the care you need without having to worry about how it's going to be paid for. Okay? Please, please get travel insurance. It's so affordable and it's worth it. The next thing in my emergency plan is life insurance. Life insurance. Yes, when you move abroad, keep on paying that life insurance policy that you already have. And if you're currently working and your only life insurance policy is through your employer, get your own separate life insurance policy outside of your employer. Before I left my job in May 2022, that's the first thing I did. I increased my life insurance policy that I had outside of my employer. And I'm so glad I did. What I've done with my life insurance, instead of paying it every month, I put that mug on auto pay. That's the only thing. That's the only bill I pay on auto pay. I usually have a rule. I don't pay nothing on auto pay unless there's an incentive. What you gonna do for me? I don't give no company money automatically. Unless you're going to give me a discount for paying automatically, unless you're going to give me something for free for paying automatically, there needs to be something in it for me. I'm not giving anybody a dime automatically, giving you access to my credit card, access to my bank account, and I'm not getting anything in exchange. But baby, please believe that insurance premium, I put that mug on auto pay. I pay it once per quarter, and they can have access to my checking account all they want. And the reason why I've done that is because, number one, life gets exciting. It gets busy. And when you move abroad, you got a lot that you're adapting to. You don't want to forget to pay that premium. And in the event of an emergency, I don't want to make it sound like I'm talking all doom and gloom, but in the event of an emergency, that premium due and you up in the hospital, you ain't thinking about paying that premium. It just so happened that premium lapse and then you transition. Happens all the time. That insurance company can deny your family's claim. Put that mug on auto pay. But another reason why you want it on auto pay is because you never know. While you're abroad, even though we're getting the VPN to secure our connection, some websites don't work when VPN is on. Sometimes you got to turn that VPN off. Some websites don't allow you to log in if they can detect that you're abroad. You want to eliminate all the possibilities that anything can prevent you from paying that premium. Put that mug on auto pay before you leave. Because we don't want our family having fish fries and putting up GoFundMes because we lapsed on the life insurance policy. The last thing that's part of my emergency plan is an emergency file. An emergency file. I created a folder on my cloud and I shared it with certain family members. Family members that I know would either come to be with me or would handle my affairs if something were to happen. In this folder on my cloud, keep a copy of my passport, a copy of all of my insurance policies, my life insurance policy, my travel insurance policy, my health insurance policies, all of my policies, so that my family members can know who to call, what the policy number is to get whatever it is that they need going. I also include the address and the phone number for the nearest embassy for wherever I am. I also include the name of the private hospital that's nearest to wherever I am. That is important to know. That's one of the things that you should want to know so that you know where to go if something were to happen. But I want my family members to know the nearest private hospital because that may be where I am if something happens. Any questions about emergency planning for life abroad? Ms. Deborah said, I have life outside the job. It's vital. Mine is auto pay also. I know that's right. I know that's right. That's one payment that ain't never going to be late, ain't never going to lapse. Ever, ever, ever. Pay that life insurance premium. Pay that life insurance premium. And even if you have life insurance through your job, you are not going to be with that job forever. Get your own life insurance outside of the job. And the last part of my financial exit plan is a section that I call Peace or Pivot. Peace or Pivot. There are two or three things included in Peace or Pivot. First thing is a long-term visa. Long-term visa. Research long-term visas that are available in the country where you are planning to go. Child, I am 50 years old. I am not a water hopper. I am not going into a country with the tourist visa and planning to do border runs and coming back and getting another tourist visa. I'm not doing that. Unless I'm going on a scouting trip and I'm not sure if I want to live in that country long term, then I would just go in on a tourist visa. Then when the tourist visa expires, you got to go. You got to go. But this financial exit plan is based on transition from the United States to a country that I have chosen, that I would like to plant my feet long term for at least 1 year. If I know I'm going to be in the country for at least 1 year, I am going to apply for a long-term visa. In my case, in my financial exit plan, the country of my choice, all three countries that are on my list, I have researched and identified the visas that I want for each of those countries, depending on where I plan to go, how long I plan to stay. But for right now, I have chosen one where I wanted to start. And I plan to test the waters for at least 1 year. And if I love it, because there's a difference between vacationing and scouting and living, is different. So I'm going to test the waters for 1 year. If I love it, I will switch to the 10-year visa. And I will do a separate video on the visa process as well. The second thing on my Peace or Pivot section is my Peace Fund. That's right, Ms. Deborah. We too old for that. I'm not doing border runs. Girl, you know what? My biggest fear about border runs, if I decide to stay in a country long term, let's say I set up shop. I done made this replaced my home. I done bought things to make it comfortable. I done put up new curtains. I done put up decor and art and all kinds of stuff, and I love it. And my tourist visa's up, and I got to do a border run. I leave the country and I come back, and they don't let you back in. Girl, no. And I done left all of my things behind. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that when I can just get a visa and just pay a couple of $100 for a visa. Mm-mm. And with what's going on in the world right now, with the felon creating enemies everywhere, you want to be in them people's country legally. You don't want to be on the wrong side of any conflict. Now, you could have a visa if you're not a permanent resident or a citizen. They could still kick you out. I'm not saying you can't get kicked out, but if you're illegal, you're gonna be kicked out first. we can see that right now, right? So I need to have the legal right to be in that country, to live in that country, and I just can't do border runs. It's too stressful. The thought of it just sounds too stressful for me. Way too stressful. But anyway, the second thing, Tanya said, I can't do all that bopping every other week, every other month. It's stressful. It's too much. Ms. Deborah said we too old for that. Yes, I can't. Hey, Hughes, how you doing? How you been? Good to see you. But the next thing on my Peace or Pivot section is the Peace Fund. So the whole purpose of moving abroad is to have peace in your life, to exhale, to regulate your nervous system. And in order to maintain my peace, I need to have money to live comfortably. So my Peace Fund includes the cost of relocating. It includes the cost of getting settled into a new home. That's going to require some research, the same way estimating your monthly expenses will require some research, not just going by what you heard. That's going to require some research because some countries, when you rent an apartment, they may require 2-3 months of rent up front. Some countries may be open to negotiations and offer you a better deal if you pay 3-4 months up front. Because ain't no credit checks, ain't no credit scores, checking your income, paycheck stuff. And they don't do none of that. At least in the countries that I've been to and the countries that I would like to live in. All they want to know is how much money you got and when can you pay me? When can you pay me? Miss Deborah said, which country in Africa? Africa is a continent. Which country are we talking about? Probably Ghana or Nigeria. I know those are some of the popular African countries that Black Americans have been moving to. But Ms. Deborah said they require 12 months in advance. So yes, you need to research the country you want to live in to see what it's going to cost you. Ghana, okay, to see what it's going to cost you to get settled into your new home. I know when I lived in Mexico, they required a double deposit, and you had to pay a lawyer fee Because rent in Mexico is like buying a house. Like all the paperwork you got to fill out and sign when you closing on your mortgage. That's how it felt in Mexico. And there are lawyers involved. You had to pay the lawyer fee too. So even though the cost of living is lower, the upfront expense of getting settled can be costly. You're going to be paying that monthly rent several times all at once. So my peace fund includes the cost of getting settled into my new home. It also includes 6 months of expenses because I'm the type of person, I don't want to have to do nothing if I don't want to. I don't want to have to do nothing. So I'm in this beautiful country living my best life. I like the idea that I got 6 months of expenses in this peace fund. So for 6 months, I ain't even got to think. I ain't got to think. I ain't got to consider how I'm going to pay this, how I'm going to pay that, or moving money from here to here to here to here. It's already there. I ain't got to worry about the exchange rate fluctuating, the value of the dollar going down, all the stuff that I've seen people online complain about. Oh, my rent was this number of pesos that's equivalent to $800. The exchange rate went up, so now my rent is $950. It happens. Exchange rate can change what you're pulling out of your account in USD. So a change in the exchange rate could be a significant change in your monthly expenses. So having 6 months of monthly expenses in the peace fund. And I also have funds for what I call pivot funds. What are pivot funds? As I mentioned earlier, we often fantasize about living abroad. But the truth is, the dream does not always match reality. There is no utopia anywhere in the world. Now, the bar is so low here in the United States. I would say, with the exception of maybe 4 or 5 countries, everywhere is better than the United States right now. But the truth is, what you're envisioning of this country that you've never lived in before, what you're envisioning is probably not going to match the day-to-day reality. This country that I have in mind, I absolutely love it. I've been several times, but I've never lived there. So what I'm envisioning may or may not match the day-to-day reality. I don't know. If it doesn't, I want the freedom to pivot. Pivot does not mean failure. Pivot means making a conscious decision to do something else. Whether that's choosing to come back home or choosing to move to another city. If it's the city I don't like, moving to another city or moving to a whole nother country. I want the freedom to choose what's best for me. And the freedom to choose helps me to maintain my peace. Right? I think location freedom without financial freedom is risky. And it's a risk that I'm not willing to take. To me, financial freedom means I don't have to stay anywhere that doesn't meet my needs. To me, financial freedom means I'm not living somewhere just because it's cheap and this is all I can afford. I'm living here and I choose to be here because it meets my needs. And the minute it doesn't, I have the freedom to go. Financial freedom is knowing that my money is working with me to create this lifestyle that I desire and not working against me as a roadblock because I'm limited. My money helps me to create the joy I desire, not limit the joy when circumstances change. I like having the freedom to choose, to always choose what's best for me. If you start working on these money moves now, getting those 2 bank accounts open, having at least 2 or 3 credit cards. You don't necessarily need 3 if you don't use American Express, but you definitely need at least a MasterCard and a Visa. Some people don't accept Visa abroad. They only accept MasterCard or vice versa, depending on what country that you're in. But if you start working on these money moves now, do it now. So when it's time to leave and move abroad, maybe you're still doing research, maybe you're saving, or maybe you're planning to go after you retire in 6 months. You never know what 47 gonna do. So don't drag your feet and put this off until later. Start working on your exit plan now. Because when the mess hit the fan and it's time to go, you want to be ready. You want to be ready. You don't want to be in a position where you're scrambling at the last minute or where you're stressed out and you're overwhelmed and you can't think straight. So you're trying to remember, what piece did I forget? Or did I do this correctly? Or do I have all my cards? Do I have all my accounts? Do I have the right insurance? You know, the thought process that goes into looking at all the insurance options. Oh my goodness, it's so much. Start doing that now. Start working on that now. So that when it's time to go, you can do it with ease because you already have your plan together. Right? Yes, Miss Deborah. She said, I got a new passport for the next 10 years. I did not mention that in this plan, only because I shared it already, that I renewed my passport for 10 years. Even though I had 2 years left on it, I was like, I don't care. I don't care. Run me this new passport right now. Run it right now. So good for you. Good for you. And yes, Celeste, gotta be ready. Get ready. I mean, what to say? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So go ahead and get your financial exit plan together. I'm going to do another quick recap again. And if you have any questions about anything I shared, put them in the comments. I'm going to read your comments in a little bit, but just another quick recap. Do your research to estimate the monthly cost of living where you want to be. And then add some extra fluff to it, because as exchange rates fluctuate and the value of the dollar goes down, your expenses are going to go up, right? So do some research on what it costs to live in the country you want to be in. And I mean specifically, not just broad range numbers. Oh, I heard you can live in this country on $1,500 a month. No, do your research and get the specifics on what it will cost for you based on your standard of living in that country. Second thing, make sure you have at least 2 bank accounts and 2 debit cards. Third thing, make sure you have at least 2 credit cards. I personally have 3, only because my favorite is an American Express, and American Express is not accepted everywhere. Make sure you have at least 2 credit cards, 1 MasterCard and 1 Visa. Number 4, make sure you have a bill payment account. I personally use Wise. I use Wise as my bill payment account so I can pay in a local currency. And a lot of landlords abroad They're not accepting checks, and you're not going to want to walk around with hundreds and hundreds of dollars in cash. You can just do a bank transfer online using Wise. Number 5, have an income plan. How are you going to earn income? The only thing I mentioned on here is creating passive income and living on my investments, because I don't do side hustles. I don't work remotely. I'm not using any energy trying to do nobody's job. I, I, that's just not my life anymore. So I don't have anything to share in that regard other than how to structure your portfolio so you can live off of your investments. That part I can help you with. In fact, let me share that link. Invest with Ease in the Sister Circle. That's the link. Go ahead and join us. I've opened up 5 seats to invite 5 new sisters this year. 5 seats to invite 5 new sisters this year. Create a plan to earn income. While living abroad and working remotely is the most popular option and probably the path of least resistance for most people, I still think if you are working at the same time, you need to be building your investment portfolio so that at some point you can transition from a 9 to 5 to living off of your investments and earning money in a passive way. To me, that's the most free way of living. That's the least stressful way of living. And you can structure your portfolio in a way that a portion is relatively low risk. Don't think, oh, if you put money in the stock market, that's risky too because you can lose it all. That's what people say when they don't know what they're doing, when they don't know how to invest in the stock market. In the Sister Circle, I teach you how to structure your portfolio such that you're managing risk. You have a portion of your portfolio that's less volatile. You have a portion of your portfolio that generates income, and you have a portion of your portfolio that's probably the most volatile because you're focused on growth and maximizing those money babies. We do that in the Sister Circle. So if you are still working, if you have a remote job, let that be your source of income, but don't rely on it forever. Create your transition plan so that in the event you lose that job, you don't have to change everything. You don't have to upend your whole life. You don't lose all the things that you love just because you lost the job. Create that transition plan so that the job is nice, but it's not anything that you really have to have. So it's nice to have, but you don't have to have it. That makes sense? You want the freedom to choose always. I'm working this job because the extra money is nice, not that you need the money. So when the time comes, if you ever get laid off, or shoot, if you just decide, you know what, I don't want to work this job anymore, you have your investment portfolio that you can live off of. I will scream it until I turn blue. There ain't no income that's better than passive income from investments. I don't care what nobody says. Anyway, the 6th thing is your tax considerations. Are you going to be double taxed? How to structure your income plan so that you are minimizing taxes that you have to pay here in the US while you're living abroad. The 7th thing is protecting your financial data online with the VPN, your travel notifications, your emergency plan. The 9th thing is getting that travel insurance and that health insurance. The next thing is your life insurance and creating that emergency file for your loved ones because anything could happen. And then lastly, getting a long-term visa, having a peace fund, and having a pivot plan. I see so many people online that move abroad and they say, I ran out of money. or they move abroad and they don't have a plan. So when they get into a financial bind, they have to come back to the United States. I don't know what the United States is going to look like in a year or 2 years, definitely 3, and by the end of his term in 4. I think what's happening now is only going to get worse. So you do not want to be in a situation where your only choice is to move back to the United States. So make sure part of your financial plan includes a pivot plan. You want to have the freedom to choose how you pivot. But with that said, what questions do you have for me about creating your financial exit plan? Yes, Tanya Tay says she's picking up what I'm putting down. I haven't used that phrase in a minute, but I'm glad. I'm glad you remember. Yes. Yeah, Celeste, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Having to come back after you got out. It's so many. So many people do. I'm like, mm. Deborah said she's writing them down, writing notes. Yes. Good, good, good. Passport renewal in progress. Yes. Yes, yes, Shalonda. I love it, love it, love it. So let's say, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, Nina, girl, I haven't seen you in a long time. What's up, channel member? Hey, girl. Hey, would you keep the peace fund in a bank or your chosen country? No, I keep my peace fund in my brokerage account. Actually, I am working. My heart is set on Merida. I got my passport. Yes. I am planning to retire in the next 2 years. Okay. I'm researching through a person who moved out of the US 4 years ago. What do you mean you're researching through a person? I think it's okay to talk to other people that have done it. It's okay to talk to other people that have moved abroad, but that's the beginning of your research. That shouldn't be your only research because everyone is different. Everyone has unique needs, different perspectives. Like, for example, I lived in Merida, Mexico. You could easily say, oh, I'm talking to Malika about Merida. But guess what? I did not like Merida, Mexico. But that's just my personal opinion. Merida is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful city, and it may be perfect for you. But if you are researching a place through someone else because they've done it, and you limit your research and you make your decisions based on what they said, you could be missing out on something beautiful. You could be missing out on something that's perfect for you, or you could be making decisions and then you get there and you absolutely hate it. You're like, oh my God, this is awful. This is terrible. Like, so many people love Portugal. I can't live in Portugal. I know a lot of people and talk to a lot of people that live there. And based on what they say, you would think Portugal is like the Mecca. It's like the utopia for Black Americans. I could never live in Portugal. I have no interest in living in Portugal. So I say all that to say, do more research. Talk to other people as your first level of research, but then go further, go deeper before you make a decision to pack up your whole life and move to that place. Please don't make the decision based on what someone else said. Go see for yourself. Go see for yourself. Lord have mercy. Please do. Get your funds out the hood. I have screamed this to the top of my lungs for years since I've been on YouTube. Please get your funds out the hood. Using my current job to help me pad my investment account. I like it. I like it. And pay off debt so my business will grant me my time and financial freedom. You know what? I like that idea. Love it, love it, love it. I was on YouTube. Was I watching a YouTube or was it TikTok? And the girl was saying, get out of the country right now, move abroad right now, forget your debt, forget them credit cards, forget them loans. Laugh, laugh so hard because, girl, although I would not do that, but I understand the people that choose to do that. And your comment made me think of her because you said your job is padding your investment account and you're trying to pay off debt. Listen, just make sure you have a exit plan in mind that does not include paying off debt, because you never know what 47 gonna do next. He already talking about bringing segregation back, child. He mess around and try to make us slaves again. I'm gonna need you to get out quickly, and I don't want debt to be a reason why you can't. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But generally speaking, I like your plan. I like your plan. But add some contingencies to your plan. Add a few contingencies. Yes. Scouting is always good. You have to visit. You have to visit first. Greta, why you say you're nervous? Why are you nervous, Greta? What makes you nervous? What I said about 47. Show Cortez shows property to purchase or rent. I only subscribe to see properties there. Yeah, I've seen some of Cortez's videos. I think he's a nice dude. He's a very, very nice dude. I think he's very friendly, and he has a unique way of showing Merida. And I think he's also very helpful too. A lot of people praise him for, helping them with their transition. But watching his videos is a perfect example of what I mean when people say, oh, if you move to this place, it's so cheap. Oh, if you move to this place, you would save so much money. And then when you see what you get for that price that's cheap, I'm just saying I've seen his videos. And yeah, cheap is relative. Go see for yourself. Mm-hmm. Some people have filed bankruptcy to leave. I have seen some people take out loans with the intent, and I'm not condoning this, disclaimer. I have seen some people take out loans with the intent of not paying them back, but to fund their move abroad. And they leave the country and just don't pay. That ain't anything I'm willing to do. That ain't anything I'm suggesting for you. But I've seen it. And I also don't judge the people that do it because, like I said, we don't know what's coming next. And whatever options are available to you, some people, you got to do what you got to do. But the whole reason why I do videos like this, sharing my financial exit plan, sharing the things that I consider, the things that I do to prepare, I share this so that you can have like a blueprint to follow and you don't have to resort to those extreme options. If you start now, I wish I would have shared this a year ago, but hey, ain't nothing we can do about the past. If you start now, you can have this plan together in a month, 6 months, a year, you can have a plan now. So you don't have to do anything extreme. So I hope this helps. I do want to share for those who want to work with me to start creating their financial freedom plan to leave the US and live well. I definitely want to be able to support you in the Invest with Ease program in the Sister Circle. Got 5 seats open. Join me and my sisters. You can join us there if you want help on how to structure your investment portfolio so you can live on your investments while you're abroad. Are there any other questions for me about creating your financial exit plan? This is a good question. This is a good question. If you are working outside, what do you mean by that? Working outside. I will make some assumptions as I answer this question. Let's say you have a remote job. You work for a U.S. employer and you move abroad and you took out some loans and you don't pay them back. Those loans go to collections. That collection agency take you to court because you're not present. You don't go to court to defend yourself. They can get a judgment. That judge can give them permission to garnish your wages, to take money out of your bank account. I was watching a YouTube video. I swear, I'm not making this up. Some of the things I've seen, it just made me be like, oh my God. Watching a YouTube video, the girl said her bank account went to zero. And by the time she realized why, it was payday. So not only did the collection agency take the money that was in the account, before she could stop it, they was about to take her whole paycheck. But, I don't know if it was the whole paycheck, but they was about to take a big chunk of the paycheck that was about to be direct deposit that day. I don't know what debt she had and who got the judgment and was taking the money out of her account. But yes, they can take money out of your bank account if they have a judgment. They can work with your employer to garnish your wages. And when you file your taxes, if you're due a tax refund, some debt that you owe, they can intercept your tax refund. I know right now student loans are being revived again. We can talk more about this in a separate video, but a lot of people are saying, oh, I ain't paying them student loans. I ain't paying them student loans. Student loans is one debt that you cannot file bankruptcy and get rid of them. Student loan is the one debt that will follow you to your grave. So if they're saying that payments are now due again and you choose not to pay and you don't meet one of the criteria for a deferment or whatever the options are to work with them, if you just completely ignore it and just choose not to pay, they can intercept your tax refund. They can garnish your wages. They can get the money out of your checking account with a judgment, of course. And if you're living abroad and you don't defend yourself, that just makes it easier for them to get a judgment against you. So, yes, that's very possible. And I've heard people say, oh, I don't care about my credit. I don't care about this. I'm going to be living abroad anyway. Okay. Part of the pivot is if you choose to come back home. You don't want to come back home to a mess. Not that you plan to come back home, but if you choose to come back home, or if that's your only option, or if that's your best option, you don't want to come back home to a mess. to jacked up credit, to a judgment where they're garnishing your wages. You try to find a job to reestablish your life. As soon as you get paid, next couple of paychecks, they taking your paycheck for debt that you owed 5 years ago. Don't make life hard or harder. When you move abroad, you want to move abroad for peace. You want to move abroad for peace. I see some QQQs. Let me see. Let me back up. My girl Greta said she was nervous. Let me go back to see why Greta was nervous. I'm up here just talking. Lord have mercy. It is not. Lord, y'all, why y'all let me talk this long? Oh my goodness. I can't believe y'all let me talk this long. Hold on. I ain't ready to get off yet. I want to see what y'all talking about. Let's see. Eileen, yes, ma'am. It's mainly my credit card balance. So I have that backup for buying my plane ticket and lodging. Okay, I see. Makes sense. Miss Greta says she's nervous. I'm nervous because I'm unemployed at 50. Miss Greta, I thought you was retired. Why did I think you were retired? Oh my goodness. I know things will work out, but it's a huge pivot. I thought you were retired. Let me ask you a question. That's not appropriate to be online. You have options. You're 57 years old. You have options. I know traditionally the thought is we don't have access to our retirement funds until 59 and a half. There are several strategies to access that money early. Because you're 57, there are strategies to access it early without paying penalties. You'll pay taxes because you didn't pay taxes on the money when you put it in. Assuming I'm talking about like a 401k, 403b, traditional. But there are ways to access your money without penalty. Enough about your situation, so I can't give specific advice. And I was going to ask, but it's not appropriate for a public live stream. My point is, there are options for you. So if you're nervous because you think you're stuck between a rock and a hard place and you think there are no options for you, I would strongly recommend that you consult with an expert to explore your options. And I have a feeling if you were aware of your options, you probably wouldn't be nervous. Because if you have a 401k that you can access, that could solve a whole lot of problems. You could probably go and move abroad now. Exactly. Listen, I'm not moving abroad to live in the hood just so I can say I paid $500. No. I'm with you. I'm with you, sis. I am with you. Hold on, let me get this banner off my screen. Tickle me. No, man, we ain't living in the hood. We ain't living in. Ooh, wow. Biden forgave $215,000. What kind of degree you got? You had $215,000 in student loans. Go ahead, Uncle Joe. Go ahead, Uncle Joe. Miss Greta make a good point. That unpaid debt could impact your passport as well. I didn't even think about that, Miss Greta. You're right. Especially if it's federal debt. They could shut it down. They have so many different ways to pursue you to shut it down. Yes, and if you already living abroad and you That could be bad. That could be all bad. I ain't even think about that, Miss Greta. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, I'm glad because I like talking to y'all. I like talking to y'all. Oh, Miss Greta, I am so sorry to hear that. Just a couple of weeks ago, I promise you, I thought you were retired. I thought you were retired. I am so sorry to hear that. I am so sorry to hear that. Interest, a bachelor's and a master's, and you had $215,000, and most of that was interest. Good God Almighty! Mm, 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 mm. Wow, wow, wow! Thank Uncle Joe for forgiving that debt. I know you feel a relief. Whew! Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Anyway, besties, I don't see any more questions. For those who decide to join me in the sister circle and invest with ease, I see you on the other side. I wish you all luck in preparing for this major, exciting, wonderful life transition. There are unfortunate things that can happen, but you can prepare for them and minimize the impact, or prepare for them and avoid them completely. The point is being prepared. And the first step of being prepared is knowing your numbers. How much is this going to cost you? And what type of lifestyle do you want to have abroad? But with that said, besties, I thank you. I thank you for rocking with me. If this video was helpful, hit that like button before you go. In fact, I'm going to pause right now. Everybody that's on live, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button before you go. And if you think this video will be helpful to a family member or a friend, feel free to share it with her too. But until next time, besties, I'm going to say bye for now. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. I have a lot in the works, a lot in transition, and I will be sharing it all with you. Bye, besties. I'll call y'all back later.